welcome to Opal and Mint. I am Ashley, and today we're going to talk about color mixing with watercolors and a tiny amount of color theory. Just the absolute basics. If you've never heard of complementary colors, basically that's as far as we're going. But I want to show you how you can mix different colors in watercolor, and again, this is like the basics, as simple as it can get, to hopefully where you will be able to mix any color that you want to mix with your watercolors. Now, there's so much that I could cover, but I try to keep this video easily digestible. So if you want to know anything more than what I've mentioned today, please let me know exactly what you want in the comments below so I can film a part 2 to this to get a little bit more advanced. But today we're talking about basic color mixing. So ignore, first of all, I have wet hair, yes. Second of all, I don't know why I'm holding this. My son is here with me today, so he might pop in and out. You might hear him in the audio of this video and the loud trucks driving by. So you might hear him a little bit in the background of this video. I'm sorry if that bothers you, but he's here with me today. And yeah, let's go ahead and start talking about some color mixing. All right, so my light is constantly changing. The sun's going in and out of clouds again, so I'm sorry if the color temperature changes slightly throughout this video. But we're gonna be talking about, like I said in the intro, we're gonna be talking about a tiny bit of color theory and color mixing. I wanna keep this as simple and basic and easily digestible as possible. So at the end of this video, you can go with confidence and knowing how to mix whatever color it is that you want. So let's start just by talking about the color wheel. If you've never seen one, which I'm assuming you have, but let's go over it. We have our primary colors of red, blue, and yellow. Every elementary kid knows, like every toddler probably knows the primary colors. And then you take your two primaries and you get your secondary colors of purple. And then we have, orange and green. So you have primary, secondary, and then tertiary colors are in between your primaries and secondaries. Super simple. Now we're going to keep this color wheel out so we can reference it, because I'm going to be talking about complementary colors and all of that jazz. And it'll be easy for us to reference this. Okay, so today I'm just going to be using the Be Inspired watercolor paper. This is from Walmart. It's super inexpensive. This is not like fancy paper at all. So let me change my color. Hopefully my child will not keep interrupting me this entire video, making it a little difficult to film today. Okay, so we're going to start with our primary colors. Let me give you a rundown of my supplies real quick. I have the Winsor & Newton Cotman, so this is student grade, and this is just a basic palette of all the essential colors that you need for color mixing. 2 cups of water. I have 1 dirty, 1 clean, paper towel, and then I'm going to be using this ceramic palette just for visual purposes of mixing. Normally I would just use this. But just so you can see it better, I'm going to be using this. Okay, so we're going to start off with red. Now, this palette and most good like color mixing palettes have 2 shades of red, or 2 shades of the primary colors. So you have your warmer toned, and then you have your cooler toned. Okay. When it comes to mixing up specifically purple, a more magenta, cooler toned red is going to be best, but I'm going to just mix these 2 together, give us a nice primary red here. Okay, so we're going to get our primary red, and I'm not trying to do anything special. I'm just putting color on paper right now. All right, there we go. Now you can see the color a little better. Okay, so we've got our primary red. All right, and then in this palette also we have 2 yellows. And I know this is lemon yellow and something. I'm just going to mix the 2 together. So here are our primary colors. And we're just going to try and breeze past this so we can get to the mixing as quick as possible. All right, and then we have our 2 blues. Again, you're going to have a more cool and a more warm tone blue typically in these types of palettes. So I'm just going to mix the 2. A nice neutral blue. All right, so here are our primary colors. All right, so everybody knows how to make your secondaries. Not really super complicated. So we're gonna mix our red and yellow to make orange. So I'm gonna take a little bit of this red, mix it. I still had some blue on my brush. That's okay. Okay, so I'm gonna take my yellow, take a tiny bit of red, and we have orange. So, and again, I am not gonna be super picky about, I say that and then I add a little bit more of this, the exact shade of orange that we have. But this is kind of a, and you know that you get green when you mix your blue and your yellow. So I'm gonna add a little bit of yellow to this blue. Oh, I need to sneeze. And then we get green. Okay. And then to make purple, we mix our blue and red. And again, to get a prettier purple, I normally mix more of a magenta tone. So this is more of the magenta toned red. And then I'm going to get a touch of blue. And then that is, I'm going to put our purple over here. And there's our purple. So these are the colors that most people know how to mix. Fairly basic. I mean, there are some complications, like I said, when it comes to mixing purples. Because if you don't have the right tone of red, it can end up being more just muddy gray and not quite as purple. But I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a second, of what you can mix to get some really pretty purples. So those are our primaries and our secondary colors. Okay, we're going to skip over tertiary because it's just in between. You get a little bit warmer, a little bit cooler of these colors. So we're going to move on to how you mix colors that you're wanting in a painting. Okay, so let's say I want a green. So I'm going to start with the green that is just in this palette. I mean, there's two greens, but this is like green. This is like Christmas tree green. This is not a very natural looking green. And if you do any kind of florals or landscapes, greens are the one color you really need to know how to mix and make it look natural. So there's several things we can do and add to this color to make it natural looking. So I'm going to get some of that green in this little well here, and then I'm going to get some in this one over here. Okay, so to mute or dull down a color, you're going to take the complementary color on the color wheel. So anytime you have just a straight vibrant green and you want to make it look more natural, add its opposite color on the color wheel. So we have our green. The opposite of that is red. So we're going to take our complementary color. So I'm going to add a little bit of red. Now this is the more warm toned red, but I'm going to add the red to the green. Now if you do half and half, you're going to get brown. Okay, red and green complementary colors make brown. But this is exactly why red dulls down green, because it's like adding brown. So red and green, here, let me put this here so you can see that these two colors together, I'm going to write on this in a minute, these two colors together make this one. Now, if I'm just wanting to dull this down, I take the tiniest amount of red and I'm going to add it to my green. You do this in little bitty bits so you don't get brown. Okay, so I'm going to put this here. So this is this green with just a little bit of that added, and that is a beautiful, it's a deeper green and it is a little bit more muted. Now, if I want a more natural green that's brighter, what am I going to add to that? I'm going to add yellow. So I'm going to take this yellow and add it to that same mixture I just had. And I'm going to put this one right here. And then you have this beautiful sap kind of green. So we took the basic bright green, added a little bit of red and a little bit of yellow. So let me put the yellow here. Okay. All right, so that is green. All right, there is one other thing you can do to make a green super, super pretty. So we're gonna take just the same green. Now what is green? Green is blue and yellow mixed together. So if you're mixing up your own greens, you just play with the amounts of blues and green ratio. But if you have a green and you're wanting to make it, this one, I'm gonna say I want a muted, little bluey green, turquoisey kind of color. Let's just focus. Oh, the camera's gonna die. So I'm gonna add a touch of red to mute it. And then I'm gonna add a touch of blue. Oh, that is such a beautiful color. A little bit more red. Here we go. And color mixing is all about just playing with the ratios of colors. So play with what you have. Add different colors in and see what happens. The experimentation of you mixing colors is really going to be the thing that you learn the quickest by doing. I hope that made sense. So I'm going to take the other blue. So just to show you different shades of the primary colors, different shades, different hues of the primary colors will get different results. So I have that same blue, but to the different green. And then I'm going to add a tap of this more magenta-y, what is this, red? And you get this color. This paper is not wanting to let this color adhere to it. So play around with your ratios of your colors. But no, if you have a palette of just these primary colors, you can mix some beautiful, beautiful shades. You don't have to buy a convenience color to get it. Now, if you hate color mixing and you just don't want to deal with it, that's understandable. But I want to teach you that you can do this. Okay, so those are the greens. We're going to move on to starting with our blue. Okay, so we've got two shades of blue in this palette, so I'm going to show you them swatched out. This shade right here is my least favorite of the two, but it is pretty. This right here is a shade of blue I like to work with. But there are two shades of blue. Okay, so I'm gonna take this shade right here. Now, this is a very vibrant blue. If I want a more muted blue, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go to my color wheel. And once you do this a lot, you don't have to reference a color wheel because you'll know. But we look at the blue and we go to the opposite color. The complementary color is orange. So I don't have an orange in this palette, but I have this orangey red and I'll mix it. Whoa, I had a lot of green on that. Okay, got my yellow. Okay, so now we have an orange. So we have orange and blue, those are complementary colors. So to make this more dulled down, I'm gonna take my orange. There was a lot of yellow in that, so it made it green. Oh, it's a beautiful green. Let's take one more tap of that. This is something also that happens in color mixing when you expect, oh, this is a beautiful teal shade. I had a lot more yellow in that. So I'm gonna take this. All right, here we go. We're dulling this down. What color was I on? Blue. And we're gonna add a touch of yellow to it. So blue and yellow make green, but if we're not doing half and half, and I just get a little touch, we're gonna brighten up this blue a little bit. Again, it's gonna make it a little bit more green, but then we get this shade. And this looks like a vibrant teal. Oh, that's beautiful. So again, that was this blue with a touch. Let's clean this off. Just a tiny, tiny touch of this lemon yellow. Getting them all contaminated. That's what that color is. Okay, these colors right here are gorgeous. Okay, so we've got starting with green, we've got starting with blue. Another color that I want to talk about is purples. I also want to talk about pastels a little bit because, yeah, also brown and black. So let's look at the different ways we can make our browns, grays, and blacks. Okay, so a lot of times when you're color mixing, using what you already have on the plate is a really, really good idea. So we're gonna start, this looks like it has green and red already on it, so this is already a muddy color for us. So let's see what this looks like a beautiful, oh, muted green. That's so pretty. Okay, so that was probably that one. And then to make this more brown, we're gonna add a touch of red. Where was I? See, that was the more purple, pinky red, and it made it so pretty. All right, so there's red and green. Got this brownish shade. Now, what are other complementary colors? Well, we've got purple and yellow are complementary. Blue and orange are complementary. So let's take this blue and then this that we've got going on here, and let's just see what it looks like if we were, there we go, to try and make brown with those colors. That one's got a little bit more green undertone to it. But again, all of this is just mixing different ratios of basically 3 colors, because when you're mixing your secondary color in, it's just 2 primaries into a secondary. So it's all very, very simple. I mean, once you wrap your head around it, I suppose. So let's see what else we can get here. Let's try and go for a black. Now, if I were going to do a black, let's get this red. Let's get this yellow. And then we're gonna take this blue. This is like a rich brown. Yeah, you mix all 3 of those primaries and you get that. I'm gonna add some more blue in here. Adding blue to it deepens it. Look at that. It's a little bit cooler of a tone and it's a little bit deeper. So pretty. See some red, that would make a more reddy brown. So just mix colors and see what you get. So this is going to be, look at that. This is more of a burgundy brown. Beautiful. What color is this up here? Hi, sweetheart. You're supposed to be at the couch with that. Lincoln, baby doll, you're supposed to be sitting on the couch with that. All right, and here is, we're getting close to gray here, or black, but it's kind of gray because it's light, because I got a light version of it. So, all right, we're gonna get a new page out, and yeah, that was beautiful. Add all the colors together and get black. So let's talk about purple. Purple seems to be one of the most common colors that people get frustrated over. So I want to talk about purple. All right, here are my 2 blue shades. And then here are my 2, whoa, that's not the red shade I have. And here are my two reds. The orangey red and then the pinky red. Okay, so let's say, so we have different combinations here. We can do this with this, this with this, this with this, this with this, okay? So I'm gonna take this blue with this red. I'm gonna just mix this straight on here so you can see it. We're gonna put more red in here. Here we go. As we mix more red, you see the purple that we're getting, and that turns into a pinkier purple. That is beautiful. We've got all the way from like the blue spectrum of red all the way into going into the red or purple. I can't say colors anymore. All right, so now let's go up to these. So we've got this blue, and we have this orangier red. So this is going to give you more of a brown shade. This is where the problem comes. Depending on your undertone of red, you're going to get a pretty purple, or you're going to get more of a brown, muted purple. So I'm adding more blue to this mixture. And that's the color you get with those two. So let's go down and cross-contaminate here. So we're gonna take this blue that's here, and we're gonna mix it with a more pinky. And that is a beautiful purple. That's gorgeous. Okay, so we're gonna take this blue, and we're gonna add the more orangey red. This one is gonna give us more of a gray toned. That's a beautiful gray. That's like a Payne's gray right there. Okay, so this is why people sometimes have troubles with purples, because you can't just mix every blue and every red and get a beautiful purple. Okay, I don't want this video to go on and on too long. If you want more specific colors you want to know how to mix, let me know in the comments, but I do want to mix a couple of fun ones that I personally love. One is going to be mint, because obviously Opal and Mint is our channel. So let me show you how I go about mixing a mint with what I have here. So when it comes to more of a pastel color like that, you can add in a little bit of a white if you want. I will show you mixing it both ways, with white and without. So I'm just getting some white in here. Okay, and then I'm gonna take a touch of this green here, and then I want just a little touch of that blue. All right, and then I'm gonna go into the sap green and let's see, green this up just a little bit more because it's too on the blue side for my taste. There we go, there we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, so here is mint with white, blue, and green. It's a beautiful color. I love mints. Okay, and then let's take, when mixing with watercolors, to get a lighter version of a color, you just add water. So a very, very watered down. So this is kind of a turquoisey teal color that we had mixed earlier. I'm gonna add a little bit of this blue in there. It's a little bit too blue. I'm gonna take that sap green again. Okay, so I have mixed a color here that's very similar but without the white. So I'm gonna take a little bit of that, put it in this empty well, and I'm gonna add some water to it. I'm gonna water this down, and then I'm gonna put this here. And then we have a mint shade without white. And you can see that it's actually lighter. So if you want one that has more opacity to it, add white, because a white has naturally more opaque, is more opaque in watercolors. And so, but if you're wanting a transparent one, do not mix white into it. All right, so we got pastels. Let's do one more pastel. We're gonna take this, just a little bit of what's left here. I'm just wetting this tiny bit of pigment, and then we're gonna put this on here. Now this is a very, very, very light, muted purple. So it's kind of a grayish purple. I want to be a little bit more purple. So add that, and again, my red that has more magenta to it. So using a magenta, like a straight magenta instead of red, will get you a pretty purple. Okay, so this is a beautiful color. Let's look at it. Let's look at it full opacity here. That is a beautiful purple. Well, it's not full opacity, but whatever. And then I'm gonna add in some more water, and we'll see how like muted pastel we can get with this purple. So just add water. Gorgeous. Okay, so I feel like I don't want to overwhelm you with any more, but I did want to show you some of these colors that you can mix. And the colors really truly are endless. Keep playing around, keep mixing different ratios of the same colors to get different colors. Play with your complementary colors to get different variety of muted tones, different variety of browns and grays and blacks. And then play around trying to get rich tones as well. So I hope that this little introductory to watercolor mixing helped you at least in the slightest. I feel like there's so much more I need to say and talk about, but I don't want to overwhelm you so much. So I think that's where we're going to stop for this video. But if you want to know more, if you would like to know how to mix a certain color, please let me know in the comments of this video so I can know what you may be struggling with and what I can film next that would help you with that. So get your colors out, just play around with them, see what colors come out of your different shades of blues and reds and yellows, and try to mix your own browns and try to just see what you can get out of your colors. Mix some bright yellow in with your green, and just play. That's all I know how to say. Like, get this like fluorescent green by adding in that lemon yellow. Beautiful. Okay, but that is going to wrap it up for this video. If you enjoyed this or found this helpful in the least, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already and you want to see our future videos, hit that subscribe button down below, and we will see you guys next time. Bye. Bye. Bye.